Okay, well, it is 7 o'clock, so can we make a start of the meeting? And can I welcome you all to the September meeting of the Finance, Employment and Services Committee? I think we've just got apologies from Brian, haven't we?
Yeah.
Are there any declarations of interest? No. Item 4, the minutes of the last meeting.
Any issues? I did change it. The one on the website doesn't. Maybe the original email that I sent did. It has been rectified.
Are there any other comments on minutes, or would someone like to move them? The seconded. Those in favour? Thank you. Item 5, public forum. There is no one here. Item 6, finance update. As usual, there's A, B and C, and we can take them all together.
Has anyone got any questions on the finances? That's not taken into account on this. Obviously, that's to get that authorised so that we can move the money around so that covers the cost of that vehicle. Environment is when you steal budget from certain places and put it somewhere else. Basically, you via it, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, in a nutshell, it's like taking half of your wallet out of your left pocket and putting it in your right one. Or you're swapping it from one budget head into another.
Do we have a second there?
Those in favour? Thank you. Item 7, Great Rhythm and Blues Festival 2024.
Yeah, so it is a bit early to see where we were exactly, sort of money wise. But as far as the event went, I think everything was really good. The town hall was well attended, and we had some good bands here. We didn't receive many complaints throughout the weekend. So I think we should congratulate the staff on a good event again. Looking at the finances, it is looking like we're coming at the moment to just over 57,000. So within budget, which is good. It may even come down from that because we've still got a few things to finalise. I've got a meeting tomorrow with Bert from the rugby club to find out how much merchandise he sold and if he sold any more camping over the weekend. So there will be bits to move around from that. But yeah, it's looking like we were within budget. It was a bit dicey at times. We didn't know whether we were going to come in under budget, but we did quite well on our bar, so that helped to bring in more income. We sold a few tickets over the weekend as well, which kind of bumped the ticket sales up as well. So yeah, we did fairly well.
Howard?
I think you should declare an interest before you thank the staff. But yes, no, everybody did a good job, and it wasn't only well, it's principally the paid staff, if you will, because they were all doing just about everything, but also the volunteers, particularly Mary and I forgot Linda, who did a sterling job despite my best attempts to sabotage it. The only hiccup, if you will, was the Sunday when from about 1:30 till 3:30ish, it absolutely chucked it down.
It did, yeah.
Which rather kiboshed, and it was windy, which rather stopped putting gazebos up before they blew away. In fact, there was one, don't know who she was, that had a stall but halfway down, somewhere round about, I think, the old clinic, and it blew away. It blew away on one day because part of it nearly took me out. But beyond that, no, it was really good. And I think as a committee, I'm assuming this is here because we, in inverted commas, own it.
Yes.
Should record our thanks. I mean, particularly Nathan, because he on, I can't remember what day it was. Oh, it was Thursday, wasn't it? When his daughter wouldn't go to sleep because she hadn't seen him for 4 days or whatever it was. So, yeah, it was good. I was talking to one of the men from
Scott Dawson.
Dawson's. It's Scott Dawson. That's it. Who this was on the Sunday. Who said I don't think credit was the word he used, but he said a lot of towns after the rain at lunchtime, people had just said, "Oh, forget it, we're not going out." But when I was talking to him, that was shortly after the rain had eased off, and people were beginning to come back out. He said that was a credit to the town, I think, were his words. But it all round, it was very good. And the Hippodrome did their bit, the Little Theatre did their bit, the Exchange Project and everywhere, and the chair of the council is still raving about Tom Petty's whatever they were, and apparently you could get in if you used your elbows.
That's seconded. Those in favour? Can I also ask, Gina?
Yeah.
How do we thank the other helpers that are sort of, well, basically the Joe public from out and about in town, aren't they? I mean, Howard's mentioned Linda and Mary, who do a sterling job every year, and there are others who come back every year. Do we write to them and thank them? And if we don't, can we do that?
We usually have like a feedback meeting stroke thank you for the volunteers, and we usually provide refreshments. So that's how we normally do it. We can also write to them if you want.
I think we should, because some of them have been coming back for years and years, and without them, we would struggle.
I mean, particularly those two, because those are the two that I saw the most of. But there were people in the Little Theatre that were there for most of the week. I mean, I don't know who they were, but I think we can write to the Little Theatre to thank them. And the same across the road, because, again, I recognise people there more than that were there when I went in and out once or twice. And similarly, Kevin at the Hippodrome and his staff. In fact, there was one person who I saw on the Sunday, I'm pretty sure it was, who was in the little theatre and later on sat in the box office at the Hippodrome. So that's dedication. But I think in those cases we write to the Hippodrome, the little theatre, the exchange project. But
Yeah.
the idea of a bun and a whatever for the feedback or whatever you want to call it, it's a good idea.
For the, yeah, in a box under the table.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, so it looks like financially we have been able to keep in budget.
It's important to point out as well that for that money, the council taxpayers, we are providing the whole. So even if they don't come into the venues, that they see Elton John and his piano zooming up and down, the stilt people who I was amazed at the fact that they walked down the main street and then just to show how clever they were, they played drums as well, which but they get that as a day out. Pity we can't arrange the sunny weather all the time.
I know, yes.
Okay, so can we move on then? To item 8, which is Ford Transit Tipper.
Yeah, so mainly, well, actually, it will come in handy for quite a lot of council business. It will certainly help with events and moving of gazebos and things like that. It will also help with waste removal, so things like Treasure Our Town, allotment clearances, tree clearances. So it will prevent us having to put things that are dirty and smelly in the back of the van, basically. So anything like that we can just put into this. And yeah, so it will come in very handy. You will see that along with the picture of the vehicle, I have handed out a budget variant, which is obviously taking the money from elsewhere, little pots in different cost centres to cover the cost of the vehicle. Now, as this is cross cost centre, it does have to be authorised at this committee and by the chair as well. I'm not sure, to be honest. Mhm. Yeah, I think they have obviously looked into that when they were. Yeah. Mhm. Yes.
Another thing that is an advantage with the tipper is when you're clearing an allotment site, you quite frequently have to shovel it into the van. But when you've only got a van, you've also got the job, which takes just as long as loading it to shovel it back out. Whereas with a tipper, it's tip it up instant and it's gone, isn't it? So there is a saving there. I think it'd be a good thing for us. Howard,
Sorry, I was.
Oh, you seconded. Okay.
all right. We voted, haven't we? Those in favour? We've got a proposal and a second. Those in favour? Ah, that's it. Council fobs and ID badges.
Right, this was just because somebody mentioned it at the last meeting. I've spoken to Nathan and he said those who have forwarded pictures will get those shortly. Those who haven't will just get something saying councillor, whatever on there. But yeah, they are in the pipeline.
No, one or two. I can't remember who, but when it was first mooted, people muttered a bit at me. And I can't remember what it was, but I think the important thing is, as we get more people using the building and moving about, it's important that we have some identification for in the building. It's not so you can walk up Main Street saying, "Oh, look at me, I'm gonna." It's so that because just it's for that reason, not because we want a badge to show everyone. I mean, if we were being really clever, the badge would incorporate any.
Well, it can do, and it's no dearer than fobs, but it's a load of faff programming all badges. But I think it is better because I think I think all of the staff know all of us. So if one of us walks through the door, they know it's okay to come through the door. But a typical example is at Blues, there were quite a few councillors at different times came in, and guy on the door didn't know who they were because obviously he doesn't work here. He was one of the security guards. If they'd have had a badge, he'd have known to let them in, wouldn't he? And it would have solved that problem, and it would have made it a lot easier. So I think it is better if you should have one. And Howard will remember going back to when he was on Pendle as well as me. We had to have badges there. It was compulsory. You had to have one. End of story. You had to have one, and I think you should really.
So does the badge work as the fob as well?
I
The
don't
badge is
think so, does
identity.
it?
No, I think you'd have the ID card and the fob.
Yeah. Does the ID?
You have a fob. Probably you should speak to Nathan.
I never got one last year. It was only recently, so it's maybe mentioned about the
I think it was because the ID cards were mentioned, so it got delayed.
Does the fob register who it is, or is it just a case of the fob letting you in?
If you can program it to
So if
say,
a keeper say,
they know
so
who
you
it is
a record
that's-
of
yeah.
who's coming.
From a conversation, I mean, I may be wrong, but I think it doesn't say it's Joe Soap that came in, but it says it was fob number. Whatever.
yeah, or you can
You can.
do it so that, well, each person is assigned a certain number, so you can find out who it was. Yeah, that way.
Yeah, you can set it so that it clocks that someone has come in, and if on a day 6 people have come in, and only at some point each day there's only 5 gone out, there's a fire, they know that it's likely to be one person still inside, don't they? They do.
No,
That one at Pendle does. You can tell it's gone out.
Houses
Can't
block
Pendle
out
one. Not Pendle one does, no.
the green, but
Because we just use a green book, but you can use them for all sorts. But they have to have a chip in, similar to a credit card. There's a chip in it with all your info, and then you don't need fob. But I still think we should have ID badge and the fob, or a combined one. We should have it. We should be covered with it one way or another. Because they're not that expensive, are they, to do? Badges, ID badges.
I don't think so. No.
Then if a member of public comes in and you're downstairs, at least they know. If you are stood there, they know who you are.
Last day on speaks, the rest of the question. I describe it, tell you what. It's the reality of trying to
Right. Item 10, town hall maintenance.
The clock still hasn't come back, so that's gone for repair, and so we're waiting for a time when they can actually come back and install it.
But the good news is the repair's less than we thought, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So it's not going to be a lot at all, really. So that's good. I don't think there is any other town hall maintenance. I was telling David earlier that we have had an issue, obviously not town hall maintenance, but park maintenance. Someone's crashed into the barrier. So the barrier has, so we've had to take the arms off it to make it safe for now. So we are currently looking at options. We have had a few complaints about the barrier. Which I think Leah's been mainly dealing with. Yes, people are not happy about having a barrier there. So we are currently looking at maybe putting bollards, like we have done sort of near the other barrier, the recycled plastic bollards, all the way up to the barrier at the top, and concreting them in properly. And still having the CCTV, which basically means that in order to get on the grass at any point, they will have to commit some criminal damage. And hopefully, obviously, once we have CCTV, it will be caught on CCTV, so we can get them to leave.
Who exactly has complained about the barrier, and what's the complaint?
We've had quite a few different complaints. Mainly, it's people who have work vans that live at the houses sort of around the park, and they go in and out that way, and they don't want to have to be getting out of the car and opening the barrier and closing the barrier. So we do think about repurposing the barrier and putting a smaller one in, a bit higher. But then we thought obviously that's going to cause more problems with like park maintenance and things like that. So yeah, we're currently rethinking options, but there will be some kind of cost involved, I'm guessing.
The ones that have complained that we've put that in for security and everything else, would they like to contribute? If they're asking us to change it, then
I think it's highly unlikely.
because the barrier, because I've not been up since the barrier's been put in. Now, is that where the original incidents occurred last time where they cut the barrier or bollard out.
No, that was on the left hand side.
Yeah.
So we put the barrier so that that was a barrier to getting to
Right.
there.
Oh, so the mug's on your right, so you have to go through that barrier there.
Yeah.
Right. So
But,
the other,
yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. See, people complain about the travellers being there, and they complain that we don't get them out quick enough, yet they don't let us do anything to stop getting in. But it's a lose-lose situation, really.
so where do these people actually live? Is it on the as you're going up? Is it on the left hand side?
So no, on the right-hand side, generally. So
Right.
the right-hand path going up, so you've got various different turn-offs on there that lead to different houses.
Right.
There's only one turn.
There's only one that you can get through. One that you can get through from Harrison Drive, right?
Yes. There's only one.
The other one.
And there's 6 houses on it. And there are 2 houses at the top where Alkincourt Bar is.
Yeah, but they generally come in
Yeah,
from Red
but-
Lane,
But those 8 houses do have
right?
an unrestricted access along that private road, which we own. It's a private highway, we own it, but they have an unrestricted access across it.
And we did write to them all to tell them what we intended to do before we did it. We did give them all keys, but then once it was in, that's when we got all the complaints in.
From one resident in particular, I can understand it could become a nuisance, especially when it's wet and raining. When you go up there 3 times a day with a vehicle that has to have it opened because of the height of it, and year in and year out having to go up there 2 or 3 times a day, and it's raining and also it's at the horrible weather, I can understand it can become a nuisance.
So the only other way we can do this then is either put in where the bollards was cut down last time, having it there, and having unrestricted up that road. But like you say, is to then
But if you do that, you'd have to put bollards all the way up that side where the wooden ones are rotten. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where- yeah, all wooden ones are rotten and won't take it out because they
We'd have to put,
passed it, they've had it.
So we're
Yeah.
thinking of replacing all those wood ones
Yeah.
with recycled plastic one and
And concrete
cementing
to
them. Yeah, cementing them.
that's going to not be cheap, though, is it?
It won't be cheap, but once they're in, they're in. And in order to get on, they would have to damage something.
And they won't rot if you put plastic ones in.
They're less likely because they won't want to damage the vehicle, so they're less likely to.
Oh,
Whereas a wooden one, they can just knock out.
presumably they'll not be bright yellow or bright, they'll be a neutral colour that,
They'll be like the ones that we put in, so black with black.
yeah.
Yeah, they do have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the chap that's caused, had a damaged van, he's not making any claim, is he?
No, he's offered. He did offer to contact someone to get the barrier fixed.
All right.
But because we were saying we were just weighing up his options, we told him to hang fire for now. But he didn't really want to go through his insurance.
No, but even if we don't replace the barrier as such, any other work we do is a direct result of
Yes.
that barrier disappearing. So
Yeah.
I think, suggest we get a price for what we think it is to put it back together. And I know he might not want to go through his insurance, but there's no reason that we can't go through our insurance. And, I mean, it's not exactly.
I don't know. I think it depends what the cost is, doesn't it? It depends what's involved. I mean, the lensman will be able to fit them, so the bollards. So it's you're saving some money there. Aren't It might take them a couple of weeks to do them.
If we did decide to put bollards in up there, plastic ones, now's the right time to think about doing it, because it's now when the watering finishes and we do have a bit more capacity than we normally do. And if we do it in-house, it won't be as big a cost as it would be if we got a contractor in to do it, obviously. Now we could I think, I never even thought about it really until Gina mentioned it again tonight, just before we started meeting. We could repurpose the existing barrier by lowering it and putting it across where the caravans got in last time.
But there is one there because we've already repurposed the
Well,
one
yeah.
that was higher up. So we have one there on that side. It's just the other side that's open at the moment, obviously.
We need the bollards in up the side, and if we wanted, we could lower it and put it across where that other barrier is that's in now, and even cover for them going up grass, couldn't we? So they couldn't go up grass either. Because they could go up grass now to pass that barrier, couldn't they, if they wanted?
At the moment they could, yeah.
Yeah. So, but if we lowered the other one and had like a 3-foot wide stile for people to walk through with prams or anything, it could be left closed unless we were going in to do some work for grass cutting or whatever up part, wouldn't it? Rather than scrapping.
Yeah, I'm just the possibilities are endless. Though
Yes.
we could have a barrier operated by a code.
That
So
would be a lot more expensive.
But you
But
still have
that's-
to, unless it were a fob, you'd still have to get out your vehicle.
well, no, because you can
Well,
reach
yeah.
it out your window. Yeah, I'm yeah.
Well, that question was, why can't you get an electric one? But obviously it's a lot more expensive.
You can only have an electric one that goes up. You can't have an electric one that swings. Because if you go up to it from one side, it'd have to swing away from you. So when you come the other way, it'd have to swing other way, wouldn't it? And if it swung wrong way, it'd take somebody's cab off, wouldn't it? Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I think what we do with barrier is something we can think about for a while, but I think the easiest way, so we don't have to go across the whole of the road, is to put the barriers up the side into the bollards. Yes. Because the ones that are in there are rotten. If you lean on it, it'll snap off anyway. No.
No.
And I don't think it'd be that big a job putting them in. And some of them's only been in about 10 years and they've rotted away now. Whereas plastic won't, will it? It's something to think about, isn't it?
And Mark said would happily look at modifying what we have, basically, to find another solution. Mhm, yeah.
Well, I think we should do bollards because that'll save us having to block off the road that the residents go to the 6 houses up. It'll save us having to block that. So that solves that problem. And Mark could have a think about it, or whoever, Nathan and all three
Leah,
at Lensman
probably.
and Leah can have a think about it. And as regards what to do with the existing barrier, perhaps that could be an item that could get tacked onto actually the next item on here, which is items for a future month's agenda. It could come back to decide what to do with the existing barrier, but I think we do need to put the bollards in. The last thing we want is caravans on there again.
place.
Oh, for the public space
It's
protection
only if
order.
it's the same one.
It's only if they, yeah, well, yeah,
But
But-
those were again, say, that's sure. Such still got that out of 4 days or 7 days.
Now, if they come back again, now they haven't. It's a start again time. Yes.
public space protection order is saying that it says that you can't drive a caravan onto the park. But
Yeah, but to enforce that public space protection order, you've still got to go to court to enforce it to get them off.
so it's the same as just
It's
obtaining.
just saying it don't. And I take it that the court order we've got has the registration numbers on of the vehicles.
It will do. So it's that particular group.
Yeah,
Of
so if a
travellers.
different group come with different vehicles, same number of them, that enforcement order we've got from the court, that court order could not be used to remove them.
It's nothing. It, well, it could, but you just apply to the court for an order against that public space protection. But it's the same process. So once you can't get them off straight
That-
away, and you have to go through the process.
That public space protection order is 10 years old. It was in existence when they went on this staff, but we still needed to go to court for a court order for them to act, for it to be actioned by the police.
I think you have to just go to the court for the enforcement. Because it all has to be done legally.
But even with a public space protection order on there, like there has been for, as I said, 10 years, if someone else goes on there, we would have to go to court and it'd take a week to get the court order to get them off.
That's why we're installing the CCTV. Because if you've got evidence of criminal damage, then they can be.
And proof of it.
Yeah.
Well, we'd have the footage, wouldn't we? Which would be the proof. So that's the only way we can sort of belt and braces it.
Would that be through here or would that be?
No, it's going through here.
That was ordered, that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we were. They're just waiting. I was speaking to utility people to finalise some details. I think.
There's nothing else about town hall and everywhere else maintenance.
No. Oh, apart from apparently the annex roof is leaking again. So we need to put some repairs on that, but it's gonna be quite a bit, I think. So we need to go out for quotes to find out how much it's gonna be.
Is it the same place as where it was repaired last time?
No, it's the other side. Yeah, yeah. So we're always down there.
Over the top of Macro Clubs.
It's actually at this corner, so it's at stage door there at the back. But it's getting access as well, which is we'd have to put a scaffold up. So that's where your cost comes in, really. Well, yes, a scaffold, but yeah, scaffolding.
Are we any nearer with planning application for number 2 yet?
I believe it has been sent through. So let's just wait for that.
It hasn't gone on Pendle's planning list as of yet. It might do later this week, but it hasn't gone on list as of yet.
But we've had the invoice for the amendments. And we have approved it. So he said he was going to send it out.
So item 11, items for a future month's agenda. Well, we can have it back to see what we're going to do with bollards. Is there anything else needs to go on? Well, by the next meeting, preferably, we will have to make a start of putting some figures together for next year's budget.
As part of that, I will say we have had we had a site visit with Light, looking at the Christmas decorations. This contract is coming up for renewal. We know for a fact that it will be going up even if we don't make any changes. However, we were looking at putting, you know, the trees that we have on this building, but putting some further up where there's like missing bits, if you will. That we can afford out of this year's budget for new equipment and infrastructure. However, then that will add on to the actual contract maintenance that we have for the storage, installation, etc., etc. So that will be going up. We did look at changing lights, but then that it goes up quite a lot more. So you're looking at maybe £6,000 more than we're paying now for the year. We also did look at options for at the top of town doing a cross. So we're still waiting on a price for that, but it's looking like it is going to go up regardless of whether we change it or not. Yeah, or from building to building, but just at the top where obviously there's buildings at either side. So where you're looking at like Red Lion, the up there. Well, I'm saying up. So you've got the betting shop, you've got the yeah. Yeah. So that bit there. I don't remember. But yeah, that's just one element that I know we will need to put an increased budget in for. This year, yeah, is the last year. So from April next year, it will go up. Apparently we've had a very good price for a long while. So they do actually need to put it up, regardless of if we make any changes. If we do make changes, obviously it'll go up more than what they've said. So, but we're still waiting for quotes for the other options that we were looking at. So once we get that through, that will come. Hopefully, will come to the next meeting along with the draft budget.
It was a 3-year contract, weren't it?
Yeah. So this is for another 3 years.
Yeah. We haven't run even thought about it with them yet, have we? To our right and their right to extend the contract.
No, but they won't want to extend because the price that we had, they're effectively losing money on it. So there's no way we want to extend.
But if they were to agree a price for the next year that was not very much more than a reasonable increase on what the existing price is, could be done, and it could be to their benefit and not go out to tender. If it's a large increase, it will definitely have to go out to tender and they could lose it.
Mhm. I was talking to Nathan about it, and we're thinking because we've got enough in the budget this year to put the trees in,
Yeah.
that we do that
Yeah.
for this year.
Yeah.
And then we look at changing the lights possibly for the following. So that's what we were thinking. So then it's people see that we're making changes, and then obviously the following year it's like, oh, they've changed this, and then yeah. So
All I was trying to point out was over 3 years, if it's only gone up a small percentage, then we could have the right to extend it and put an extension on it rather than the
going
hassle of
yeah.
having to go out to tender again,
Uh-huh.
which they don't like and we don't like.
No.
Whichever.
But once we get prices for everything, then I will. Yes.
Yeah.
And there are various different firms that do them. What kind of
You know, my opinion is the one that does it now is better than the one that did it before. But I'm not mentioning no names.
they have done it for a while.
Yes, well, there was one before.
To be honest, the ones that have it now were sort of in our favour. If there's small things that need doing, then they'll usually just do it.
Yeah, I don't
To
have a
get to
problem with the ones that are doing it now. That's why I would be quite prepared if it were only a small increase to say, well, we'll if it's okay with them, we'll extend the contract. But because in a nutshell, I'm happy with what they've done. Yeah.
I think from what I could see, if we put the trees on this year, then the contract will go up. I think it's about $4.5 grand on what we're paying now. Well, we had considered that, and we had a site visit with them and to go through options. No, that doesn't. That's not including the extra lights. That's just as part of the upgrade that we were looking at, and maybe making some changes. They obviously looked at what our existing contract was, and they couldn't actually believe that it was what it was. I think Naomi must have pleaded poverty. I don't know, but they obviously gave us a very good price last time. So for the last 3 years, and I think for the last couple of years, effectively they have not been making any money on that contract. Well, yeah. So well, it has, even though they are LEDs, so it's but yeah, it has gone up. And the cost of everything else has gone up. So materials, labour.
So what you're suggesting now is then we get the extra trees this time,
I think we get the tree.
right? And then in April, before April, we would have to go out to tender for the maintenance then of everything as it stands now, plus the
it
trees,
is.
won't we?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Well, we have to submit our budget in February, in January anyway.
Yeah.
So, ask me if they're putting the extension with reason. Which, they say, yeah, that's how it goes. If not, then we don't follow. Straight, which you could, or not, trying to, or extend some, such.
But the reason why they come back with prices now, obviously, was because I said I need it for budget purposes.
We'll know basically what the price will be because Gina knows how much it's going to go up-ish. But depending on who wins the tender, we don't know what that tender will come in at, and it could be a bit either one way or other, and we won't know that until we've got the tenders in.
Plus, there's extension first. Sit down.
I think from what Gina's said, he probably won't be interested in extending it, but I think we could ask the question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. They are local as well, which helps. Obviously, a lot of these firms are Manchester way or whatever. Yeah. That you know, and you're happy with the service. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll just wait for these extra prices to come in for the extension as well.
Well, if you've got any more information on it by next month, it could come back on that agenda. If not, it'll have to be November one, won't it?
Yeah. As long as it's in time for budget setting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've got to do it in January because I think we have to submit it first week in February, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
Well,
before
yes, yes, it is.
it's before the February full council meeting, and they've got to okay what we've come up with. So really, it's got to go to ours in January, hasn't it? Or it has done it past. Well, it has to do. I think it don't fit in.
It has to be decided in January full council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got to be in January anyway. So they're only one. You can only move it 1 week because it's on third week, isn't it? Normally, you could only move it a week. But we could move it
But
a
we
week
could
if we needed it, or we could have an extra one.
Extra one if we needed.
Yeah. Okay. So the date and time of the next meeting is 1st of October. Can we close the meeting at 7:55 and I'll blame extended time on to Howard, he wasn't here at last one.